You're locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio. It's the show that helps you build the business you need so you can live the life you want. I'm your host, Ralph Brogden, your captain on this journey into the exciting world of rebelpreneurship. Building a business is something some people choose to do on their own, but smart people realize that it takes a team to get you from where you are to where you want to be. The question is, how do we build, develop, and lead that team so that we can grow our businesses and grow them in a way that doesn't cause us stress, anxiety, and sleepless nights? Well, today's guest is an expert in developing entrepreneurial leadership. I'm speaking with Caryn Gillen. She is a leadership coach for entrepreneurs and executives who want to lead better, faster. They want to be great leaders. They also want to be agile and grow fast without putting their teams through hell or breaking the businesses they have. She helps them become the leaders they've dreamt of becoming so they can sleep better at night and make the impact they were born to make. Caryn, welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio.
Thank you for having me and for that great intro.
You are an entrepreneurial leadership coach. You help entrepreneurs, executives, rebelpreneurs get to where they want to be faster, but also get to where they want to be and not leave people behind, to actually lead others to the place where they're trying to get to. Tell us a little bit about how you got interested in leadership and what made you go into this as a business.
I think I've been interested in leadership my entire life and just really recently keyed into this is the thing I can talk about, the conversations I want to have. These are the people I want to be with and hang out with all the time. And one of the things that clued me into this is just the way I talk about leadership as a healing modality and how leaders are here to show up and lead us, and what a powerful position that is when we take that role on. I had a coach and she was like, you realize I don't hear anyone else talking about leadership how you talk about leadership. Mm-hmm. And that's when my business took a turn for the better and I ended up where I am today.
Now, not too long ago, you were in the weight loss coaching business and you made a pivot. Tell us about that pivot, why you changed your business model, and actually the whole business into the direction that you're going in now. I think that would be interesting to our listeners.
Yeah. So two things happened kind of simultaneously. One was I was working with this coach who was helping me to see myself for who I am, and really got me to see, like, this is how I show up everywhere. I always show up with owner's mindset and thinking about leadership and thinking about how does the strategy of what we're doing and what we're doing impact customers, the business, ourselves as people who are leading our own lives. The other thing that happened is, even though I had a weight loss coaching practice that was going well, when I looked at the numbers from 2018, 2/3 of my income came from other business owners coming to me for coaching saying, I know you don't do this, but. And so when I looked at, 95% of my energy and revenue generation was going into a weight loss coaching business that wasn't generating the revenue that this other thing was, it was a pretty clear and easy shift to make.
Yeah, that's that old Pareto principle of the 80-20 rule, except in your case, it was validated even higher. 90% of your effort going into 10% of your results and vice versa. So then I think the first question you can answer for us is, are leaders made, born, or both?
Both, for sure, both. I think every single one of us is a leader. We all have the stage of our individual lives. And you can look at that as how I lead my house, how I lead my physical body and take care of my wellness. Any of those things are leadership stages. But then there's these stages where what we do not only affects who we are and our physical body in our house, but it affects people who are on our teams. They go home, it affects their partner, it affects their kids. And one of the things I like to talk about is we have to show up and lead in a way so that not only we as leaders can sleep well at night, but the people who we manage are sleeping well at night and their kids are sleeping well at night, because all of the stress, it all runs downhill too.
So it's a lot, I would imagine. A lot of leadership has to do with morale building and morale maintaining, for the very reason you said. Even if you are sleeping well at night, if somebody on your team is losing sleep, then you've got a morale problem, which means you've got a leadership opportunity.
Right. So any problem on your team, it's your problem, right? Because if you're in that position, it's all your job. And I think about it as not only a morale problem, but a healing problem. Is we're sending these people out into the world and we want them to come back to work and refreshed and ready to go and ready to work on our mission with us. And if they're not coming at it from a really solid footing, then we're losing maybe the best parts of them every day.
Is there a particular type of business or maybe a particular type of client or prospect that you work with that is particularly where leadership is particularly important, and or they tend to get the most benefit out of learning how to lead better and faster? Who would your typical prospect be?
I've got two. They're kind of parallel. One is somebody who is in a new enough leadership role. Maybe they're the first CEO after a founder, and there's a lot of kind of that transition from startup culture to a more safe, consistent culture that has to happen. And there's a lot of conversations that are going to have to happen in there. And there's a lot of people's different goals that are all headed in the same direction, but don't always feel like they are. And the other type of people I'm working with are solopreneurs, or people who are building businesses where they're just starting to have teams, and they are finding themselves reacting to clients, reacting to their business as if business is happening to them versus them being the leader of their business. And in both of those cases, it's really identifying what is the ultimate goal of you, of the client, of the customer, of the service, and how is it that you're supporting that thing while you're supporting yourself to have what you want to, because we're all in this selfishly. We all want to get what we want out of our work in the world.
And that's the case for leaders, for the owner of the business. It's also the case for the employees or the people that are working to help make that vision a reality. And I think a lot of people forget that. And they forget that the essence of a team is everyone working together for a common cause. But it's hard to do if different people on the team are pulling in different directions. You can't really make any progress, can you?
Right, exactly. And you really have to stay attached to and help all your people stay attached to what is the reason that we're here in the first place? Why are we even bothering doing all this work, showing up every day, striving, doing uncomfortable things? And yeah, there are days where that can feel like you're on the best basketball team and you have a great coach and everything's going wonderful. And there are times where it can feel like your coach is just out to get you. And you want to just be the leader who can walk that fine line between holding your team accountable and helping to motivate and boost morale, like you said, and being someone who's actually seen as the person who's bringing things down.
Interesting. Now, you have an interesting background. And like me, you have been focused academically in psychology and counseling and psychology. But a lot of the lessons of leadership that you learned were on a fishing boat. Tell us about how that happened, because that's not something that most people would associate with leadership, but you've learned some really valuable lessons there. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, so I started commercial fishing, I think it was the summer after my senior year of high school, more seriously, and, used all that money to pay for college. And what I noticed going, whether it was fishing or I worked on private yachts and I worked in the restaurant industry and I was a therapist, wherever I went, there were these common threads that also were true on a boat. And one of the things that I really like to think about is, are you being the captain of your life? Do you know where you're going? Do you know why you have a boat, why you have a fishing crew? Do you know how to get where you're going? I think it all plays in really nicely.
It does. I mean, when you put it that way, it's like, do you know why you have a boat? I mean, what are we doing here? But isn't it funny? That seems really obvious. And when you're on the boat, and if you don't know why you're there or why you have a boat or what it is you're supposed to be doing, yet not only are you wasting time, but you could actually get yourself into some serious trouble. I mean, going out and have no clue what you're doing or where you're going. But then when it comes to our business, it seems like a lot of people just kind of show up without a vision, without a plan, without clear leadership. So this is really important if we want to make progress and not go down with the ship.
Right, exactly. And I think it can save you a lot of money, especially as an early entrepreneur, but this happens for everybody. So it's when you don't really know where you're going, as you end up buying lots of different stuff and kind of scrambling and trying to find the perfect thing that will make it all work for you. And that's just not necessary. And
really the answers are probably not out there, and it's probably not in a new software or a new technology. It's in a new you, in a new attitude, a new mindset, a new paradigm that says you're the captain of the boat and you're going to have to take leadership here. That's right. Yeah. What is the biggest hindrance? Why is it that people find it so difficult to lead? And what do you have to overcome, help them overcome to get them where they need to be with their mindset? I think the biggest hindrance to leading is accepting the challenge. You know, oftentimes we want what leadership looks like, but not exactly what leadership feels like. So when you show up for the job and you're the last, like everything stops with you, every question comes to you, every project comes back to you, you're it. Every person who shows up to work for you, they put trust in your role and that you're going to do a good job for them. And that just comes with the job. You don't even really have to earn it at the beginning. It's yours to lose. And it feels really uncomfortable when you think about the fact that you're impacting these like layers and layers of management and families and homes. And it's a big responsibility. So when you really get into the weight of that, it's no wonder we shy away. That was a real quotable moment there when you said that a lot of people want what leadership looks like, but they don't want what it feels like. Because that is so true. And we see a lot of people with the wrong concept of leadership. And for them, it's about title, position, authority, micromanaging other people. But your view, the approach that you are trying to bring to bear on this idea of leadership is not just being excited about what it looks like, but actually stepping into that role so that it feels, even though it feels uncomfortable, it is actually fulfilling a purpose that's bigger than yourself. And it's not just getting you where you want to be in your business, but getting everyone where they want to be in their life as well as in their work. Right. Yeah. It's an opportunity for huge transformation, not only for a company, but for us as individual leaders and for our employees or our contractors. It always reminds me of most of us have had some experience in our life where we got coached, whether you're an 8-year-old soccer player, you're in high school basketball. There were the leaders who had such an impact, it changed the trajectory of your life, whether that was for good or for bad, right? We have that in every business leading role. We have that opportunity every day to be one of the people who changes the trajectory of someone's life, whether it's your client or your employee. And I think that's a really big deal. It is a very big deal. And I always like to find the truth, which is the opposite of our experience. We know leadership is important. We know that we can have an impact and influence on the lives of other people because all we have to do is look at examples of bad leadership to see how
Right.
it creates a negative ripple effect. So you are a leader, you have influence, and what you do makes an impact on other people. Now, the question is, are you going to have a negative impact or are you going to have a positive impact? And you don't have to do anything to have a negative impact. Just do what you always do and just kind of be either nonchalant or be a micromanager or whatever. It doesn't take a lot of skill to be a negative leader. You can actually be very unskilled as a negative type leader and create negative consequences. So we know that it works. The question is, how do we turn that around so that instead of having, creating damage with our leadership and the way we interact with people, what can we begin to do as leaders to have a positive impact? Are there some steps we can take to begin to transition from damage control to actually building something positive and encouraging in people's lives?
Absolutely. So I'm just going to take you deeper into my fishing metaphor because I think it's really fun and you can really get a picture of it in your mind. So first, you have to identify as the captain. And I would challenge everybody listening to just decide right now you are a captain. So you want to know that you're in charge. You want to know what you're in charge of, what your goals are, where you're going, and you also want to know why bother. Why bother going there? Why have this goal? The second part of it is your boat. So what is the vessel that will help you accomplish those goals? And you want to be sure you have the right boat for the job. So if you're headed out salmon seining, you want to make sure you're not taking out the pleasure yacht, right? You want to have the right boat for the job. So do you have the right business structure to get you where you actually want to go? If it's not perfect today, can you at least see how it builds into what you want? Third is your crew. Do you have the people in place you need to get the work done? And even if that's just you, do you have what you need to get the work done? And do you have what you need to do that work remarkably well? Do you see any holes in your crew? Maybe there's someone you need to hire. Or maybe you're looking around at your crew and you notice that there are 2 extra men on deck and they don't have a job to do. It's time to let them go. Number 4 is your navigation. So that is the how or the plan or the structure, how you do the thing you do. What is this product or service that helps you carry out that ultimate goal, the reason that you're here? And then I like to add to that, do you love it? Is it working? Do you know what it is and do you know how to define it really well? And can everybody on your team and can your clients also define what it is so that you know they can then get excited about it? Oftentimes we're doing things that we think everybody gets and no one actually knows what we're doing, which is which is hard to sell. And number 5 is when you have all of that combined and you know where everything is, even if it's not all in balance, even if you've got some holes or you need to get a new radar or whatever it is,
Right.
is what you've got going going to work for you? So all that put together combines to create what I call clean power. And that's just my way of saying that you're aligned, you've got momentum or the potential for momentum, you've got good energy, and you're leading from that place of being abundant and you're open. Somebody could come at you with something that's a surprise and it's not going to knock you on your heels because you know you have all these things in place that support you. You know there are not big gaps, or if there is one, you know exactly what it is and if this new thing will take you out or not.
Wow.
But that's essentially it.
So much wisdom, Caryn, that you have
On one boat.
that you have summarized a lifetime of leadership learning into some very succinct principles. And I love this idea about being the captain of the boat. You're making sure you've got the right boat for the right job and then making sure you've got the right crew. Your navigation And then how is all of this working together to create the momentum, the clean power, as you call it? I love it. Fantastic. And as you're sharing these, I am reminded of one of my heroes, which is Shackleton and his expedition to Antarctica. And I think it's important to realize, even if you are an experienced captain with a great boat and wonderful crew and all your supplies, and you know it, and you've ticked off all the boxes, stuff still happens.
That's right.
Your boat can get a leak. You can hit an iceberg. In Shackleton's case, they became shipwrecked. But the great thing about that man and about his leadership is he didn't lose a single person on his crew. The mission failed in terms of their short-term expedition, but the bigger mission is not just to save himself, but to save his crew and get them back alive. And he did that. So I would call that a successful expedition, even though it didn't accomplish the mission that they set out to. He cared as much and probably more for his crew than he did for himself. And I think that, along with all the principles that you're sharing, are powerful, powerful lessons that we can all put into practice in our business. If someone listening wants to work with you, what is the best way for them to go about it?
The best place is just to find me on my website, which is caryngillen.com. I've got a free training that really dives deep into the framework that we just talked about with the boat too, if anyone wants to have that.
Oh, perfect. And so they go to caryngillen.com and look for that training. Is that a download of a free thing that they can get?
That's right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, there's a free download with that. It's pretty much on every page, so you can't miss it.
Okay, perfect. So we'll have that link posted up on our website. Is there anything that you're working on right now? I mean, I feel like that you are on the cutting edge of some really powerful ideas that are really going to make an impact and really change the way we're thinking about business and about leadership in business. What are you working on right now that's got you really excited?
The thing that's got me most excited is I'm working on turning what we've talked about today into some sort of signature package or program or something so that I can deliver my services to more people. Because as we know, working one-on-one is a very limited scope.
Right. Yeah. So you've got to have a way to scale what you're doing to have greater impact. And again, is the boat that you have the right boat for the job?
Exactly.
And
so I am working on my boat and my navigation right now.
There you go. That is so awesome. I just, there's so much we can do with that analogy. It's such a great way to think about it. And, wow, there's just so much there. And you have shared so much wisdom with us, but our time is just about out, unfortunately. Do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom to kind of sum everything up and leave us with a great takeaway?
I think my main thing is just to call everybody out who's listening. You are a leader, and there are people who are looking up to you. They're watching, and you are having an impact. And I just want to invite you to check in on what that impact is and make sure that that's the impact you're here to make.
Perfect. Words of wisdom from Caryn Gillen. She is a leadership coach for entrepreneurs and executives who want to lead better, faster. And she has shared some powerful, powerful principles with us here today. She helps entrepreneurs become great leaders, to be agile, and to grow fast without putting their teams through hell or breaking the businesses they have. You can find out more at caryngillen.com. And like I said, we'll have that link posted on the Rebelpreneur website as well. Caryn, it has really been a pleasure to get to know you. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been great to be here.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at rebelpreneur.com.